Hello again, this is MiriQL Movies and welcome to part 3 of how to make Machinima video. In this video we'll be going through some more special effects and we will be adding the spell and blood effects as well. So now is the time to add the color correction. So you go to color corrector here on the left, and then you'll be having some of these default ones, but I'll be showing what the color correction actually does to your characters. So it's changing the color tone. We'll be starting from the default, and special thanks to Nixium for showing how quickly this can be done. So you click here and you go to the background where the fog is and you click. And this is the quick fix of doing color correction. I'll be changing the saturation and gamma to match the desert colors. And you can name this preset and save it so that you can apply this to all of the models. So make sure you disable it from the first model at first, then go to the color corrector and you can see somewhere there your saved preset. Then select all of the files and drag and drop it on top of it, just like you did for the chroma key. And now all of the models are color corrected. Also, Hiru mentioned that these effects can be also added to the whole row. Right, now the next thing that we're gonna do is to add shadows to the characters. And for that we need more video tracks. So just create a few video tracks, then select all the model files and drag them higher in the playlist on the timeline, so that you have some space down here to put the shadows, because the shadows will always be under the characters. And you can do the shadow on paint, but let's use another method this time. So instead of using paint, we can use the text tool. So create new text, delete the text from it, and then go down there in advanced and make the background 100% so that it's visible and black. And then create another text, delete the text, go to background and make it blue, like so. And then go to special effects of the black solid and use cookie cutter, and then change the shape to oval here. And move the size a little bit smaller and feather it like this. That's good. And then another effect, deform. You'll have to put the amount to max and then just squeeze it down a bit, so it's nice and flat. And then you can save this snapshot to a file, name the file to shadow, save, and now you have shadow PNG. You can delete these. And then use chroma key true blue, and voila, you have a shadow. This is the kind of shadow that I use in my videos. You can make complicated shadows with other video editing tools or 2D shadows with Sony Vegas, but in this one we will not be having any 2D scenes. Okay, and just change the opacity down, because it's not so strong shadow. And move it under the character. Right, now we have the shadows ready. And on to the next special effects, which is the blood. Now this part may cost you, because this action essentials is not free. And you can find it in video co-pilots tutorials. They are pretty good and they're aimed for After Effects. But the files that he provides can be used in Vegas as well. So here we just choose a blood effect. That will happen when this other guy's decapitating this second one. So we'll just place it here on the timeline. And then go to video effects. And use your true blue, except change the color to black. The blood is a bit not visible, so just change these settings so that you can see it. And I would also suggest that you save this to true black or something, so that you can use it for other blood effects. And just rotate, move this and rotate it here on the neck, like so. Maybe just have it move with the body. And keep this effect on the neck. And here I'm just choosing another blood effect, the blood spatter on the wall. Actually the swing comes from right to left, so the spatter should be on the other side. So just control and drag this so that it's mirrored on the other side. You can use some deform effect to make it look more like it's on the wall and it's not somewhere in the air. And then at the final effect, you'll see that sometimes on a place where the head should be, on the base of the neck, is an invisible part. So we'll just hide this with this splat and just move it along with the neck, like so. Doesn't have to be so accurate, and it will look good. And the thing that we are now missing from the video is the camera tricks to trick the eye to think that something is closer than the background. As of now, the character and the background, they are pretty much on the same level, so we will be blurring the background to 100. No, let's put it to 50. So use Gaussian blur effect on the background so that this character will look closer than he actually is. The same thing for this one. Gaussian blur and make it 50. And on this scene I want the first character to be blurred and the second character to be in focus, and then in midway the first character will become in focus and the second character will become blurred. And the way we do this is with keyframes. So first, the first two animations from the first model, first character I mean, we'll be blurring them. And then on the third one, where he's unsheathing his weapon, I want him to become in focus. So let's start animating these. You have to click on those two, and somewhere here, let's do it on this spot. We want him to have 0 blur. As you can see, if you drag this, you will see that the Gaussian blur gradually goes to 0. And the focus changes. But that's not all. Now we have to do the same thing for the second character as well as the background. And in order for them to do it exactly on the same spot, make sure you have this sync cursor to media timeline on, and go to the keyframe where the focus changes completely to the first character, so that is conveniently here where the animation changes for the second character, so it'll be easy. So now we have the model sorted, but the background is left undone. And for the background, I would like to copy. So we have two, and one of them will be blurred. So just moving this so you can see that it is blurred. And we'll be using the same thing. So going to the first keyframe where the blur changes, the focus changes. So until this point, here moving this keyframe exactly where this point is, the focus will be on the background on the background. And from this point onwards, the focus changes at this point, changing this to 100. So now it's blurred. But the problem is that the ground in front of the first character is also blurred. So we would want to change that back into the focus. And that's why we have this other file. So go to Cookie Cutter, click OK. Change the, so let's put borders so we can see what it will look like. Change the shape to oval, move it down here somewhere, and just play with the size. Or let's take the square instead and just repeat X to max. So it's the whole bottom part. Hide the border and use the feathering. And now the ground in front of the first character is always in focus. And it won't be blurred. Like so. And just repeat this for the other scenes. Now that we have all the visuals ready, some of you requested spell effects, how to put them in the videos. So I'll be using WoW Model Viewer to find the spell effects. But this is Warrior and I guess a DK that we're talking about, so there aren't any great spell effects, but I'll be using whatever I can. So I found Cleave and Frost Strike to use, as well as a Whirlwind that we'll be putting on the first character. So just import these spell effects to the project, use the chroma key. This is nothing new that we haven't done already, and just position them correctly, following their weapons or where they strike, and that should be okay. Now I found that on the Frost Strike the spell continues, the spell goes forward without the weapon, so we'll be hiding this with the cookie cutter, and you can animate the size and the center of the cookie cutter. At the start you will hide the left side, and then in the end you will reveal the left side. And placing the Whirlwind is really easy. You'll just have to follow and keyframe the Whirlwind exactly where the first character is. You just keep the Whirlwind on top of him and everything just falls in place. And also what is important for the spell effects is to be correctly positioned in front or behind the characters. Sometimes it's in between. So just move it up or below on the rows on the timeline. And that concludes the part 3 on how to make Machinima video. If you liked it and thought that it was helpful to others, then put a like on the video. If you disliked it and think that this was something not so productive, then please explain it further in details in comments so I can improve myself. Also consider subscribing to the channel to help me out. In the next part we'll be covering how to add sound effects to the clip, as well as background music, ambience, all that stuff. And since I expect that that part will be really short, we'll be also covering the post-production, which means what happens after you've rendered the video. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next part.